They think you're stupid. They think the politician you elected is stupid. They're pissed off that you elected that person. Therefore, they're going to do what they want because they know it's good for the country. You don't know.
This is the Kevin Trudeau Show.
I am exposing the corruption in government and in major multinational corporations. We're telling you the things that they don't want you to know that will make your life better.
So when you elect, I'll use the word hire, but when you elect a congressman or you elect a president, you're effectively hiring a president, hiring the congressman to work for you and represent you, or you elect/hire a senator. They work for you because you've elected them. They represent you. And you tell them, if you don't do what I like, I'm going to fire you. I'm not going to vote for you next time. So they listen to you. But the problem is, the federal employees who run everything, they don't listen to the politicians, the people you elected. They do what they want. And the polling shows that over 90% of the federal employees and the subcontractors who work for the federal government are left-wing liberal Democrats. And I'm not saying that that's bad, that liberal Democrats are bad people. I'm just saying that they have a particular ideology. This is why it's called the deep state. Because they do what they want, and they cannot be fired. The problem is the federal employees have a couple objectives, okay? So the first objective, and we know this because this is what they say in the internal polling. The federal employees clearly want to keep their job. They want more power, more control, they want higher salary, they want more security, they want more benefits. So they want to be able to work for 20 years, retire on 90% of their pay for the rest of your life and get full medical insurance. What job offers that? The benefits is like, this is insane. So they have the best job in the world. They cannot be fired. You know, a federal employee can come to work drunk, can't be fired. If he doesn't show up for work 3 days in a row, can't be fired. If he just refuses to work, let's say I'm a federal employee and my boss says, I need a report by Friday. I don't think so. I'm a little tired today. I don't think so. Hey, you need to do this. What are you going to do? Fire me? You can't fire me. I'm a federal employee. I got a union. You can't fire me. Matter of fact, I'm taking off for the day. As a matter of fact, I'm filing a lawsuit because you actually asked me to work. And I'm offended by that. And I don't like it. You made me feel bad. Oh, no. And I'm not kidding. I mean, I'm trying to be funny. Some of you think you're not very funny. No, I am very funny. Ha, 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 ha. See? Laugh. But it's true. Look, I've been around federal employees for 8.5 years. I've seen how they don't work. They want the government to increase in size. Federal employees want a bigger government. And not only do they want the federal government bigger, but they want the federal government to have total control over everything in your life. They want Soviet, centralized, ultimate authority and power. That's what the employees of the federal government want and desire. This is the challenge we have in America. Now, unless you believe that that's a good idea. And if you do, hey, that's okay. We can debate that. We can debate it. But I just want you to know what they want. The federal employees want no state rights, no independent rights of people. They want a Soviet-style authoritative government. These are the Democrat liberals, by the way. They always say that the Republicans are like that. That's not true. It's a complete lie. It's the Democrat liberals that want ultimate absolute power and control out of Washington, and they want to dictate everything in your life. You may think that's a good idea. Okay, and there's an argument about that, by the way, but I just want you to know what they want. Next, these federal employees live in a bubble. The majority of them work in Washington, D.C., and their parents worked in Washington, D.C. They went to Columbia and the Ivy League schools. They are the privileged elite class that have no idea what it's like to live in Des Moines, Iowa, or Purdue, Kentucky. They have no concept of what the people are like or how they live in Plano, Illinois, or Ocala, Florida, or 90% of America. They have no concept. They've never been there. They haven't been at somebody's house for dinner. The only people they talk to are people that think exactly like them. They live on Mars. They're in their own bubble. They're in their own world. And they don't have any concept or clue. You had Adolf Hitler running a war, and he had no idea what the Russian front was like. So he's directing, telling his generals, do this, do this, do this. And they're looking at him going, do you have any idea that our soldiers have no clothes? And it's winter in Russia? Hitler was clueless. Many people are like that. It's called being in the ivory tower. Do you know that there was a company in America, one of the great companies of America, called Sears, Roebuck and Company, later changed the name to Sears. They were the largest retailer in America. I believe they're 100% bankrupt now, right, Trey? They're completely gone?
Yes.
They're gone. The biggest retailer in America doesn't even exist anymore. And do you know that the president and CEO of Sears, for 3 years, never stepped foot in a Sears store or a competitor's store? And we know that because he was interviewed on CNBC, and that's what he said. For 3 years, he was in the ivory tower trying to run Sears, and he had never stepped foot in a Sears store or a competitor store. Now let's flip that over and look at Sam Walton with Walmart. Sam Walton said he spent half of the amount of time in his working life, 50% of the amount of time in his working life, walking around Walmart stores and his competitors' stores. So he knew exactly what his competitors were doing and what he was doing. Half of his job as the owner and chairman and CEO of Walmart, half of his time he spent walking around and observing and looking, so he knew exactly what was going on. The people in Washington, D.C., the federal government employees, have no clue. They don't have to perform. They can't be fired. They don't care. And this is also state employees as well. Next, they don't follow orders from elected officials. When somebody is elected, the elected politician, let's say the president, says, I'm going to put my guy in charge of the Food and Drug Administration, or I'm going to put my guy in charge of the Environmental Protection Agency, or I'm going to put my guy in charge of the Department of Justice, or I'm going to put my guy in charge of the FBI, or I'm going to put my guy in charge of the Department of Homeland Security. The problem is, all the people that work for any of those agencies, they don't listen to the orders. They refuse to follow the orders if it goes against their political agenda. So since 90% of them are left-wing liberals who want more government employees and a bigger federal government, if a president comes in like a Ronald Reagan or something and says, we're going to shrink government, and the people say, yeah, shrink government, I'm going to elect you. And Ronald Reagan says, fine, I'm going to hire this guy. And he comes in, he's in charge of the Department of Health and Human Services or the Department of Education or whatever, or the Department of Energy. And he says, okay, we're going to slash the staff here. The unions file a lawsuit. Everybody refuses to work. Everybody in that company refuses to follow his orders. And nobody can be fired. I mean, think about it. Okay, so I just got the job. as the CEO of Starbucks. So I just got the job. So I call a company meeting and saying, let me tell you what the deal is here, guys. We're going to start making better coffee. We're going to be nice to our customers. I ain't being nice to no customer. Nope. I'm a member of the union. I refuse. No. What do you mean be nice to customers? What do you mean dress nice? I don't do that. Nope. You can't fire me. Well, don't you understand that since you're mean and nasty to customers and you make a crappy cup of coffee and you're talking to your coworkers all the time instead of dealing with the customer and you give slow service and crappy service, our customers are going away. I don't care. You still have to pay me. I do what I want. You'd say, I'll tell you what. If you don't do what I say, since I'm the now new CEO of Starbucks, in the next 24 hours, you're fired. And the person says, you have the power to fire me? Yes. Okay, what do you want me to do again? I want you to treat the customer good and be fast service. Stop talking to all the other employees. The customer comes first. Oh, okay. You can't do that in the federal government. So when these new administrations come in, especially the Republican, because the Democrat one, they're all on the same page. So it's like, oh, good, the Democrats saying, good. So you have a war going on in Washington between the people that work there and your elected officials. Another problem, again, this is all proven in theory, not in theory, but in all the polling that's done. The elected officials are voted on by the people, which is you. The people that run the government, that make all the day-to-day decisions, they do not follow orders. They do what they want, and they are following a left-wing liberal agenda, period, end of story. And no one's going to stop them because they can't get fired. So sometimes they absolutely not even follow orders. They do the exact opposite because they do what they want, and they can't get fired. But they also think that they are smarter than the politician and much smarter than the people who elected that politician. So they think you are dumb. So the people that run the federal government, many of them, most of them, think that they know better. They think you're stupid. They think the politician you elected is stupid. They're pissed off that you elected that person. Therefore, they're going to do what they want because they know it's good for the country. You don't know. They want to keep status quo. They don't want anybody rocking the boat. They got a good deal. They can come in late. They can take a 2-hour lunch. They can leave early. They got a good deal. Don't be asking me to work hard. Don't be asking me to be more efficient. I don't want to change anything. I work for the federal government. I got a government job. Yeah, government job. I remember when I was a kid. My friend, we were talking about what we're going to do when we kind of grew up, And I said, I'm going to go into business. And my friend says, oh, you're an idiot. I'm going to get a government job. And I said, why? He says, because I don't have to work and I can't get fired. I'll never forget it. And I said to myself, wait a minute. All of your family works for the government. He goes, you're darn right. So I know it's the best. You don't have to work. And you can't get fired. I grew up in Massachusetts, and everybody knew the best job was a government job because everyone said it. You don't have to work. You don't have to perform. There's no stress. You don't have to be good at what you're doing. You don't even have to make deadlines because you can't get fired. It's the easiest job in the world. The people in government have a mentality which is, this is the way we've always done it. They do not want to change. Well, the way it's always been done is wrong. Just like Sears, they didn't evolve, which is why they're gone. They didn't evolve. This is the way we've always done it. This is the way we've always done it. This is the way we've always done it. In business, you go bankrupt. In government, they just keep spending more money. The government waste is off the charts. People don't understand how the budgets work. I'll do a show on that. But the bottom line is a department gets a certain amount of money and they have to spend it. And I was sitting there with people in government, and it was the end of the year, and I said, "What are you doing?" They go, "Oh, I'm buying a bunch of stuff." Like what? "Oh, new TVs, some new chairs." I go, "What's wrong with these chairs? They look perfect. They're like brand new." "Oh yeah, I know. But unless I spend the money, our budget will be lower next year." I go, "What's wrong with these TVs? They're like brand new." "Oh, I know. But we're getting new TVs because unless I spend the money," I go, "Wait a minute. You mean you can't be efficient? You can't be smart?" "Oh no. When we get our budget, we have to spend every penny. Because then next year we can ask for more. We can say, hey, we spent all of our money, we need more." So our budgets continue to go up. If we're efficient and we actually try to save money, then we get less money next year and our department loses power. This is government. And let me tell you the fraud that goes on. So I was physically there. So these brand new TVs come in and these brand new chairs. I was there. I'm telling you I was there. And this is just one example. They took the brand new TVs and they loaded them in every staff member's cars. And the same thing with the chairs. And the staff members, the employees, took them home. This is called theft and fraud. We had the same chairs, we had the same TVs, which were perfectly fine. But this is how the staff gets free TVs paid for by the government and free chairs. It's theft. It's fraud. It's fraud. It's fraud. It's fraud. And I'll tell you what, we have a couple guys in the federal government now that are in this efficiency department here. They're going to be going after this fraud. And I'm going to be the first guy to testify of what I've seen. And there are thousands of us that know what's going on. The government blows billions and 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 billions in fraud and waste just like that. These are our federal employees. Hi, I'm Kevin Trudeau. This is everything they don't want you to know about to improve the quality of your life. Broadcasting every Monday and Wednesday, 2 days a week now. Monday and Wednesday at 1 o'clock Chicago time. Make sure you tune in and subscribe to the channel and share these shows with everyone you know.